Hey guys, Pontic here, and today I'll be bringing you another 1 versus 1, and it'll be round 2 of Immortal versus VoidDragon. So here you can see Immortal chose the Seleucids and Void went with Rome. Immortal has 5 normal pikemen, 2 silver shield pikes, which are elite units, 2 Persian light archers, 2 Syrian heavy archers, 2 normal archers, and then a chariot and 4 median cavalry. And you can see Void's composition on the right with 2 Avocati, 6 legionary cohorts, 2 Vigiles for support, only 2 Syrian archers, but he has 2 median cavalry, and then his general and bodyguard with, I believe, 5 legionary cavalry. So now, if you look at the battle, Immortal's starting to move around, and Void's moving up also. Interesting to go with all pikes, mainly because pikes are not super mobile and they can be easily outflanked. Usually what most people do is bring a couple pikes in the center and then have sword units or spear units on the outside of the pikes to support their flanks. But Immortal's chosen to go all pikes. And the other thing about pikes is they're very defensive. They can be hard to use offensively. So, something you need to do if you bring pikes is have some way to force your opponent to attack you. And Immortal has done that by bringing 6 archers. This way, the opponent, who VoidDragon is, really have 2 options. You can force yourself into attack into the pikes, or you're gonna have to just sit there. But by just sitting there, your own archers will be able to get lots of kills. So that's something interesting Immortal's done, and it's a good army pick on his part by bringing a lot of archers to support his pikemen. So yeah, Immortal's doing a lot of rearranging. You can see he was up on this hill a little bit, but now he's starting to move all of his troops over into this area down here. You can see the movement orders. A lot of rearranging. His cavalry was down here, and then he moved them back up to this hill. And you see Void not really doing much, just slowly walking his troops. Not in much of a hurry at all. Now Immortal's starting to bring his guys back down. Now taking a look at Void's army, he has a very balanced army with a good amount of infantry and cavalry. He's slightly low on missiles with only 2 Syrian archers, but with Rome, Syrian archers are really good, so they can stand up to 3-4 normal archers, so that's not that much of a problem. But in this situation, I think it actually works out for Void by only bringing 2 archers, because bringing any more against this huge archer force would almost in a way be a waste. So by only getting 2, and with that he probably got an extra infantry unit or even cavalry unit, it worked out in his favor. So now you see Immortal spreading out spikes into a long line, which is something you generally want to do with pikes, covering a lot of ground because they can spread so thin, and even when they are thin, even 3 men deep, they can still hold really well against infantry. So he is bringing them in a little bit, still bringing his archers back. He has some cavalry. He's going to start pushing around to the back of Void's army, and he's bringing some of his other cavalry around this side and exchanging them for his chariots to bring him over here. And Void's still kind of just readjusting his guys. Not much of a change with what he's done. He's kind of started at this hill and been here for the most part. Most of his force is hidden in these trees. Now at this point, Immortal's almost completely changed his starting position from way over here to over here. And now Void has the hill advantage. Not much of a hill, but still a small advantage. And it's not going to be a very good idea to take pikes and charge them up a hill. So really at this point, it's almost Immortal's, I don't want to say, I'm trying to think of a way to word this. He's almost put himself into a defensive position by coming to the bottom of the hill. Because 1, he has pikes, so it's not very offensive. And now at the bottom of the hill, he's obviously not going to rush up. So it's all up to Void now to start the engagement by going down. which some of his units are starting to come into view. Some of his cavalry you can see on this side, and he brought 2 of them over here, his Numidian cavalry, with some infantry support, which his infantry line actually spans basically from this side all the way to this side. Still the center is hidden. And once again, Immortal is doing a lot of running around, readjusting. Some cavalry rearranging over here on Void's part, and really just waiting for the actual engagement to begin. And now if you notice this interesting thing on Void's part, you can see he's started firing, and look where his aim's at. His aim is on these pikemen, which is a very smart thing to do, because, well, with 6 archers, that obviously beats 2 Syrian archers. So there's no chance that these 2 Syrian archers will be able to win against 6. So instead of just wasting his arrows firing at the other archers, he chooses targets that are going to make a difference, which is these pikemen. You can see 7 kills right now, but these 2 Syrian archers will actually rack up a lot of kills against his pikemen. And this is definitely the spot you want to be firing at, because pikemen are very susceptible to archer fire. You can see already losing 22 guys. Quite a bit of losses. He's going to just continue firing. Sorry about that. So back to the battle. You see Syrian archers firing into the pikemen. Going to do quite a bit of damage all over. And these legionary cohorts, although you see some of his archers are trained on them, they're not going to take too many losses. Over here, some of the cavalry has engaged. He threw his median cavalry in to hold up his legionary cavalry, and Void quickly supports these vigils and his general unit. And now along here, the chariots finally come into play, getting about 60 kills. And right after the chariot strike, Immortal goes in with a cav strike, which is a very smart thing to do since they're already disarrayed. So by going into the cav strike, he was able to completely rout 1 unit already, and now this other unit already down to half strength. So over here, not much is going on. He does engage over here, but Immortal is waiting for all of his pila to be thrown, which is a very smart thing to do. And you can see taking quite a bit of losses on some of these troops, still with the archer fire coming in. Void starts to pull back some of his infantry on this side, and they're going to start getting picked apart by arrows. And from that chariot, pretty much destroyed this unit. These Evocati are stuck against these cavalry, and partly by these pikes. And once again, Immortal brings his chariot into play into these units, which were braced, so it's not going to be able to pull through, and it's going to get caught, bogged down, and slowly start dying. You see 150 kills about, and then it's going to break pretty soon. Now some of Void's infantry starts to engage. Still along here, he's able to get surrounding on these pikemen, and now with those chariots, they really messed up the pikes formation, especially over here. You notice they're all kind of disarrayed, which is going to be one disadvantage of pikes. They're easily messed up like that. So with this wing becoming in the Romans' favor, Void's going to start using that and sweeping around with his cavalry. And all along here, his infantry has been engaged by the pikes. And you can see these silver shield pikemen, really elite units, cost quite a bit. Already to half strength and have only gotten 24 kills. So not super great there. And he has one other silver shield, which is still at full strength, but only 8 kills right now. And this pikeman is completely surrounded, basically, with Evocati and legionary cohorts. This unit is actually going to get charged from the side. And most of his guys have not engaged. He's just allowing his archers to pick apart this unit. And you can see down to 42 men and still losing a lot. This flank is being overrun by the Romans, and you can see he's slipping some cavalry into the back lines, which he's using his Numidian cavalry, which isn't great, but it can still be used well against archers, and he's bringing around the rest of his cavalry, and he's going to start going after those guys, so they won't be able to support the fight anymore. So these pikemen finally rout, his general is gone. So yeah, most of them are engaged now. Along here, he's going to get a nice charge into these pikemen, and their pikes are not down. Kind of get him at the last second, but for the most part it's too late. You see a lot of the Evocatis are already inside. fighting these pikemen. He's quickly able to catch some of these archer units with his own infantry, and the rest, the cavalry, are going to go after to tie up. Over here, this pike unit's surrounded and not going to be able to do much. And pretty soon, he's actually going to bring his archers. They're almost out of arrows, if they're not already. Or at least one is. This one might have 1 or 2 volleys left. He's going to bring them in to actually help support. And if you notice, his superior infantry numbers are now going to allow him to easily surround these pike units, which he will start doing in a second. He's going to use these Syrian archers in a second. He's going to bring them both around and then attack the pikemen. And real quickly, I want to just point out these Syrian archers. 40 armor, they do quite well, and they can hold up to cavalry really well. You see 2 of these legionary cavalry with about 16 and 8 men now are actually going to lose to that Syrian archer out there. Now over to this fight, really. Besides those 2 archer units, 2 archer units, this silver shield pikeman is the last thing he has left, and he's actually going to throw in Void as his Syrian archers into the back of these pikemen, which is going to stop them, fix them in place, and then he's going to take all this infantry he has left and rush them in. And that's basically going to be the end of the battle. Not much you can do at all. See in the background, the Syrian archer of Immortal's army is tanking it out against those legionary cavalry units. 70 kills, most of it being from shooting its bow, but still impressive. And now this silver shield pikeman is completely surrounded, and most of them are out of formation, so it doesn't have its pike advantage. So not much you can do against all these infantry. And yeah, this is basically the end, so not much more at all is going to happen. Just kind of watch some of the fighting. Anyways, good game to both Immortal and VoidDragon. Immortal won the first battle, and Void now winning the second. Ties them up at 1 win to 1 win. So I'll try to upload the third battle relatively soon so you can see the tiebreaker battle. And yeah, just take a look at the unit stats real quick. You can see a lot of these pikemen not doing super great, and these 2 elite pikemen units doing pretty bad for how much they cost. Not really paying for themselves at all. Archer units, I would say, you know, some of these units, especially these more expensive ones, didn't pay for themselves. These 2 did a little bit better. Chariot, not so great, and Cavalry, not so great on Immortal side. But looking over here at Void side, just real quickly look at these archer units with 65 and 66 kills, which I guess in itself is not a lot, but when you look at what they were killing, namely these pikemen and even these silver shield pikemen, they were the ones who almost basically took out the whole general unit and did quite a lot of damage there. So these may not be a lot of kills, but I would say they're quality kills and definitely paid for themselves in that aspect. So yeah, that's basically it. So stay tuned for the third battle between Immortal and VoidDragon. Thanks for watching.